Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Dennis Duke is my name. If you're new here, subscribe. Today I have joined, or I've been joined, I don't know which word, I didn't go to school so much, but well, I have a gentleman here. His name is Semaganda Joseph, and he's going to take us through some interesting part of actually growing pastures for our beautiful animals. Talk about goats, talk about cows, talk about rabbits, and in this particular field where we are standing, there is something interesting, and that is something I love so much, called alfalfa. Thank you for joining us today. How are you, Mr. Joseph?
I'm very fine, thank you.
Please say hello to our viewers.
Hello viewers, thank you for watching and following Dennis Duke.
So let's start from the beginning. How do we start? Why did you choose or decide to be growing your own pastures for your animals?
Because without feeds, we are not doing farming. And since we are on a small piece of land, we had to grow our own feeds. It's a must to grow your own feeds when we're on a small piece of land. Because for us, we are planning to do totally zero grazing. So this is alfalfa, which is the queen of proteins. When you take it in a layman's language, people like schools, they eat posho and beans. So when you talk about posho, we're talking about croys. When you talk about beans, you're talking about alfalfa. This is the source of protein because it has a protein content of around 16 to 21 crude protein. That's a very big percentage. So it helps a lot in building the muscles of an animal. So if you have like just weaned your animals and you have alfalfa, they will gain more weight so fast. But if you only give it croys, they will have more energy because the other is carbohydrates, energy giving food, and this is a body building food. So you need to balance between the two. Alfalfa in plenty, like 60%, the other like 40%, if you want your animals to grow well. That's why we chose to plant our own feeds. Somebody would be wondering, where do I get the alfalfa seeds? For us, we bought them there at Container Village at a shop called Simlo. They have good seeds. How much maybe in terms of money, package, I don't know. The only problem we have as of now, the prices of most of the stuffs are going high. So last time we bought it was 40K. So right now I'm not so sure about it, but it is there. So when you're planting alfalfa, there are 4 considerations you should know. One, you should have a well-tilled soil. What is a well-tilled soil? You properly till it well. We call it amavonic properly. You remove, it has to be weed-free garden before planting. I already made a video on how to plant it. I showed each and everything. It is there how to prepare from garden preparation. It has to be a weed-free garden, well-tilled. Because this alfalfa doesn't perform well in weeds. You can see this side and where they have not yet weeded. Down there you can see even the size. So it has to be a weed-free garden. You must make sure that your garden is free from weeds. It has to be a well-packed soil. Even if you can see here, the soils are well-packed. So that when you sow there the seeds, they can easily fix themselves inside. And again, the seeding depth matters. You must plant it at least half to a quarter an inch high within these soils. So that within a square, you see at least 4 to 6 seeds on top. If you see no seeds on the ground where you have put them there, it means you have planted them so deep inside. You won't have a strong stand. And again, to have more volume or more production, try as much as you can to apply at those organic fertilizers. For us, we are lucky we have the dung, the droppings from our animals. We put them back. After every harvesting, put them back. So for proper germination, these alfalfa need 2 things: manure and water. When you control the weeds, you apply manure and you have water. You can harvest them after every 3 weeks. I've tested it. When you read on the internet, you will see 1 month and 1.5. After 3 weeks, when you do proper fertilization and application of water, like now it's a rainy season, if we plant it, they grow very fast. And these grasses, these pastures are not only for animals. They even treat humans. Even humans consume them. When they have the problem with their heart, stomach, they act as herbs. It's a super herb. Since they are legumes, they already maintain the fertility of the soil.
Okay.
They have an advantage that they have very long roots. Their roots can go deep to 30 to 60 meters down. So they can get the nutrients which are very far from, because most like maize, crops, they get the nutrients on the first layer of the soil. So when you have alfalfa, they get those nutrients which are very far deep in the soil. So when you give them to your animals, you know you have provided them with vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E, and vitamin K, which are very good for the overall health of the animals.
Okay. How long did you say we take before, from the time you plant and then the time you harvest?
So first harvesting, 2 months.
2 months. Okay. So how do you harvest? You just cut or you bring your animals and feed?
I cut them, then I wilt it,
okay,
like for 5 hours. Then I keep it there so that they dry,
okay,
not with the sunshine.
But under a shade.
Yes.
Why do we do that?
So that they can retain their nutrients.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you dry the alfalfa or any other grass under the sunshine, it does not?
It loses some of the nutrients because as if it's just drying. So you just have to wilt it to reduce the amount of moisture within. Then they dry from under the shade. Okay. Then you have to have all the nutrients.
So after I have cut and that's all?
After cutting it, wilt it, then after like 21 days. Because if they feel like there's a kid which had escaped, if they feed it when it is so fresh, they suffer from acidosis. And again, they have some bloating. Yeah. So even when you are feeding it, you shouldn't overfeed it to animals because you want them to grow so fast. Everything should be controlled.
Like a portion. What I was asking is, after I have cut, do I now need to get new seeds and plant?
No. For me at the farm, as I said, I don't plant annual crops. For me, I only plant the perennial ones. Reason being, this one, if you maintain them proper, they are here for 3 to 5 years.
Okay.
If properly managed.
So meaning I cut, it regrows.
Yeah, it regrows.
Cut, it regrows.
If someone wants to test it, let them give it organic fertilizers and the waters after every 3 weeks. And you control the weeds. That's why you have a small portion of it, because it's not easy to manage the weeds. You need active people, active workers in the garden. But they grow so fast. So the spacing in between the lows should be at least 80 centimeters.
Or between the lots.
Yes.
Or like spacing from one uphill to another.
Yes.
I see.
And when you are planting them, like here you can see, as you have done, this soil is compact. So that when you step in it, the sole of the shoe doesn't sink to more than 1/4 inch. So the grounds will be firm and well leveled for a better production. Yeah.
Okay. So that explains why we have lines all throughout.
Yeah. These lines are for easy management when you're removing the weeds. If you plant them in the lows like this, weed management will become so easy. That's why you don't just throw it anyhow. So for easy management, you plant your stuffs in the lows.
So we've been talking to Mr. Semaganda Joseph, and we've been talking about how to raise alfalfa. Alfalfa, we've now known how important they are to our goats. And now we want to cross over to the Chloris Guyana. And eventually, if time allows, we'll talk about how to grow the the napier grass or pakchong. Yes, pakchong or elephant grass, but only if time allows. So let's cross over to the Chloris Guyana.